Parents, are you doing gratitude right?
You know why I love this week, Steve?
It's Shark Week.
It's Turkey Week.
It's Turkey Week.
Shark Week. It's Turkey Week.
It's probably Shark Week, though. I think Shark Week and Comic-Con, I think those things are the American Music Awards, Country Music Awards. I think they're held every other week.
It feels like it doesn't. I'm thankful for those award shows. I'm thankful that they give out all those awards to all those rich people. It's really cool.
What else are you thankful for going into Turkey Week?
Holy cow. I am thankful for being able to run the Thankful 13. I love running a half marathon Thanksgiving morning. I love being able to run. And I love just the celebration of gratitude, love family. Yeah, I'm grateful for family. I'm grateful for the show. I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for all the kids I get to work with, parents I get to work with. This is amazing.
I'm grateful we're doing the show. We're in episode 70 something, over a year. Yep. And most podcasts last less than 8 episodes. If you go beyond 14, then something good is happening. And I'm thankful for all the listeners that started with us and the many that we're gaining.
Yep. Thankful for our loyal listeners and thankful for the new ones that are choosing to be here with us.
And I'm grateful for you.
Aww.
Yeah. Aww. We're not going to go into the sappy
it's
stuff.
Too bad we didn't cue up the "Can You Feel the Love Tonight" from The Lion King. Yeah. All sappy.
No,
we're good.
We're not going to do this.
No, but we are. It's Thanksgiving week, and this is such a great opportunity to kind of dip into the superpower that is gratitude.
So I'm going to ask you this question to you. Are you doing gratitude right? I mean, we're asking the parents, are you doing gratitude right?
That's a fantastic question. I don't know if I ever thought about doing gratitude wrong.
Yeah, the question kind of implies that there's a way to do it wrong.
Tell me more about this.
I think we can say that you probably can't do gratitude wrong, but there is a way to do it better. There's a higher level.
So it's not so much a wrong way, but it's a good, better, best kind of thing.
Yeah, we had to go with a curiosity question and a intriguing question.
It is an intriguing question because that idea of doing gratitude wrong is like, whoa, wait a minute. I didn't realize you could do it less right.
Yeah. So are you curious where this came from?
Super curious.
Well, I'm a podcast consumer.
Yes, you are.
It's actually good I consume more podcasts than I do chocolate because I used to eat a lot of chocolate, too much chocolate, too much sugar. And so I consume more podcasts now. And I came across this was very interesting. I came across this woman, her name is Dr. Janae Nelson.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to love this because she's into psychology.
Her first name's Doctor. I already love it.
And she's a developmental psychologist. And she was doing some work on adolescence, character development.
Mm-hmm.
Character development in adolescence and adulthood. And she brought up this idea, this phrase that she used, shallow gratitude. And it immediately caught my ear. And
catches my ear.
I'm like, what is shallow gratitude? Because
I guess?
I immediately thought, am I being shallow?
Yeah.
In my gratitude. Yeah. Go ahead and guess. What do you think it is?
I would have to guess that it's gratitude with some insincerity or something. It's like the person that says thank you when they don't really mean it.
Ooh, that's super shallow.
Yeah.
Because
that would be my guess.
Because there's no sincerity there. They are not being genuine.
Right. Well, we've talked about sarcasm as like the sarcastic thank yous. Yeah. Well, yes. You know me. I'll bang that drum happily every chance I get.
Well, I would say sarcastic gratitude is below shallow gratitude.
That might be the way to do gratitude. That might even be sarcasm.
Yeah, that might be the wrong way to do it. That is.
Okay.
Like,
Look, we should write a paper about that, Dr. Steve.
I think you're getting into evil gratitude. if you're going to say, well, really think about it. If you're being
That's so
sarcastic with the intent to hurt or belittle, yeah, you get the evil stamp across your forehead right there.
I love that you went to evil. It wasn't anti-gratitude. It was evil gratitude.
It is. It's terrible.
I'm picturing a turkey with like devil horns. It's like, rah.
Yeah, we need to stop that. But you are on the right track here.
Okay.
Dr. Nelson was describing shallow gratitude as being thankful for just the thing. Whatever the gift is that you're receiving, you're thankful for that, but there is not a real connection or connection with the giver.
That makes
is
perfect
what we're
sense.
shooting for.
That's a deep insight. That's great.
I thought so too. That's why we're doing this episode.
Dang.
I think it's really
You're dealing on this Thanksgiving week. I'm thankful for that insight.
So you get the new iPhone, Nate. You get the new iPhone 22 or whatever, and
75S.
Do you go hug the phone and like cradle the phone? And you're like, I am so thankful for this phone.
My wife
which is
would
not
probably
wrong,
tell
right?
you why I do.
Which
I cradle my phone too much.
Okay, back to doing it right. It's not wrong that you are thankful for the thing.
True.
It's like you have this cool thing. It can do a lot of good and a lot of positive things in your life.
Mm-hmm.
But what is your connection to the giver? The person that gave you the phone.
You know, I almost wonder if we forced ourselves to be shallow with gratitude like this, being grateful for the thing, by getting too many things for ourselves. If I buy that phone myself, then I celebrate being grateful. I'm grateful for the thing, but I would never think to be grateful for the giver because I was the giver.
You don't hug yourself.
No. I gave myself an iPhone. No, you don't do that. We almost get too many things for ourselves. Interesting. Sorry, didn't know if you wanted to go that direction, but
I hadn't thought about that. As a parent, we want our kids to be grateful. And I think we could say that all parents would jump on the connection to the giver bandwagon and think, yeah, we want this higher level of gratitude.
I want my kids to be grateful for me, for all the things that I do for them.
Right. So where do we start when we have a teen that's not thankful? I know I have talked to many parents, and when the subject of gratitude comes up, it usually just goes down this slippery slope to negativity. And it's, well,
they're not grateful for anything.
Yeah, they're not grateful for anything. My number one, my number two, they always say thank you, and it creates these good moments. But my third child never says thank you for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we go here?
Boy. Take him out behind the woods. I want to whip some gratitude into you, boy. No.
Well, isn't that a common strategy? Is just getting frustrated and you go off on a parental rant about how
you little ingrate. You're not grateful for anything I do. I do this and this and this and this.
There are kids searching for food on the ground.
Well, here's a good place to start for parents is maybe your kids are actually expressing gratitude to you and you don't realize it. Sometimes, like, kids are sneaky like that, and they almost do it subconsciously, where they'll express gratitude, but they'll do it in like weird ways that don't necessarily, they're not like overt expressions of gratitude. So there may be some of those in there. So it might just be noticing those things. But there's a couple other strategies I can think of that would help them to eventually get to that point where they're more grateful for the giver than they are for the gift. Or at least equally grateful for the giver. We might have to go to that step first.
Well, okay, hang on to your thoughts about the two different ways. I think a good thing for us to do as parents is to ask ourselves, can I be better at this?
Mm-hmm.
And so I have this teen that's not showing gratitude. Am I modeling this for them? Like, do I do it?
Yep.
And do I do it? Am I genuine? Do I do it enough? We could say that this is a skill.
It's a total skill.
I know you're always telling me. I mean, everything's
trainable, which means pretty much everything is involved, at least skill-based in some way.
Right. So I think we need to get a little bit curious and ask ourselves, am I showing gratitude at this higher level? Am I making connections to givers? And am I doing this in a normal, natural way with my teens?
Mm-hmm.
So that they get to view a good example. They get to see this in real life.
Yeah. That jumps right on. The first suggestion that came to my mind was, am I expressing gratitude to my spouse in front of my kids? Am I showing, and if you don't have a spouse, just anybody that's significant, because when they see you interact with their mom, their dad, the spouse, that's a little more meaningful and impactful, and they'll see it more. And that's a great place for me to start, is to say, okay, am I modeling the gratitude for the giver by respecting my spouse, taking care of her, verbally expressing the gratitude, and then showing it, backing it up with action? That's a real impactful place to demonstrate and model that gratitude.
I really love that, Coach. You said there were two.
Yeah. The second one is, I need to express gratitude to the kid themselves. Find the things they're doing right. So easy as a parent. And I know I've got 5 kids. It's so easy to be like, how come they're not doing this? You didn't do this. You didn't do this. It's the laundry list of things they don't do.
The room is not clean. The trash was not taken out.
You were home 5 minutes late.
Homework
you have
is
C's
not done
right now in your classes, or D's or F's. And it's catch them doing something right. That is such a next level move as a parent and as a coach, to catch your kids doing things well and calling it out in a very sincere way, especially with a thank you for boom, with a specific thing attached to it. Those are the 2 things that come to mind: express gratitude to the spouse in front of the kids, and then express gratitude to the kid themselves for things they're doing well.
I love it. What would you, now, easier said than done.
Always.
What would you say to the parent that you tell them that? And right now I can hear some angry parent in a car listening to this saying, yeah, but we get into some yeah buts.
Mm-hmm. Well, your butt's right. Like their butt is right. You got to dig. This is where, you get paid to push as a coach. And this is where you have to say, you know what, you're not wrong, but where's your focus? You focused on the things that find something that they are doing well. Because if you're hitting the yeah buts, it's probably a really good sign that that's a problem. And it can be a real challenge to do that when there's so many things that you wish that they would be doing. But the best foundation is to be grateful for the one tiny little thing that they're doing right. And if you can find that, now you can start to grow that.
I remember you telling me a story. I'm kind of putting you on the spot here because I don't know if you do remember the story. And you can see this for sure, and I can see this for sure too, from the teacher side, as well as the coach side, as well as the parent side, and maybe even the rebellious teenager side. Although I don't think you were a rebellious teenager like I was. But do you remember the story about calling the teacher?
So what happened was it was a teacher I worked with, and they had a student that was just being a right royal pain in the tushy in class. And the teacher grabbed the kid after class and said, "Thank you for being here today. But when you're here,"
was it sarcastic?
No. They were actually really good. Like this was a teacher I really respect and look up to. And they're like, yeah, "Love having you here in class. Thank you for being here today. When you come to class next time, can you help me by doing this?" Trying to get, some, I can't remember what the specific thing was, but just trying to direct him. And the kid's like, "Yeah, sure." Okay, so the kid goes home. Well, the teacher then calls the parents. And instead of calling the parent and saying, hey, your kid's a punk and they need to clean it up, can you talk to them about it? The teacher called the parents and said, hey, I just wanted to let you know how grateful I am for your child being in my class. And I really appreciate their efforts to try to help class go well. And so if you could thank them for me, that would be awesome. And so that was the phone call from the teacher. And so the kid comes back to class the next day and was as good as gold. Like the teachers, they've never been better at going out of their way to say nice things to the teacher and to other kids. And because that kid had gone home and the parents had said that, and it really hammered the point home how grateful that teacher was to have the kid in class. Total ninja move.
Yeah. So how can a parent do this? I mean, they're on the parent end. Is there another way in their everyday life that they could do
your
this?
kid in front of your kid to their coach or teacher? When you get a chance, praise your kid in front of the teacher. Yeah, sure, I'm proud of how hard he's working. And don't give the credit to the coach. Give the credit to the kid in front of somebody else that they respect. Their friends. I mean, they value their friends' opinion so much, and they might blow it off and be all embarrassed and everything. But you know, if you can just find a subtle way and almost a cool subtle way of just letting the kid know, I'm really grateful for you and the things you do, and highlighting the good things they do in front of people they love and respect.
Yeah, I think that would stick. I was thinking of basketball and football, and some really good coaches do this. They model and they teach their players to show gratitude. And I'm thinking of the connection to the giver part, Nate. So in basketball, you receive a great pass, make an easy basket, and it's a warm feeling. It's awesome. Like you hear the crowd.
Yeah.
And you executed the skill, you made the basket, you get the stats. It's like, I mean, it's a cool feeling. It's a much better feeling than the ball not going in the hoop. But if you want to take this to a higher level, the player makes a connection to the giver. It takes a split second. You don't have to forget about getting back on defense. You don't have to forget about what you're supposed to be doing, but you can make a quick eye connection, even a finger point at your teammate.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I often see selfish teams, and I can tell that the giver is frustrated that they weren't even acknowledged. There was no connection to them.
Yeah. Well, that was a rule in Carolina basketball. Dean Smith that was a hard, fast rule for their program as you point to the passer.
And if it's genuine, this is going to build great teamwork, camaraderie.
Well, I've seen teams that do this, and it's interesting to me because what will usually happen is the person that scores will point to the passer, and then the first thing that the passer does is point back to the person that scored the bucket.
Right.
It creates an authentic connection, and when that happens, that's really cool to see.
I think sometimes creating the pass is more fun than creating your own shot. Creating the pass and involving a teammate, because it's a team sport. Yep. You're not golfing. You know, it's a team thing. This is why soccer drives me nuts, Nate.
Why?
Not that you don't also see this in soccer, but this is something I often see because I only watch scoring highlights. It's hard for me to watch a whole game.
Yeah.
But somebody will score and they run away from their teammates. They go into a double knee slide and take off their shirt. You've seen this, haven't you? And a teammate's running, trying to hug him, and they're running away from their teammate. It's almost like it's the opponents.
It sounds like those soccer players are just into that whole evil gratitude thing we were talking about.
Well, I don't know if they're evil. The guy running away, I'm sure he's grateful for the pass and what his teammates did to help set up the goal. I'm sure he's grateful for the crowd.
Well, it's kind of a tradition in soccer to do that too.
But why not turn around? Why not run to your teammates?
You know who I can see teaching that to his team? Ted Lasso. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. I have another story, Nate. Just thought of it.
Oh, I love your stories. Bring it on.
I think this fits. This is from a client, young mother, and we were talking about the habit of courage. You know
Nice.
this well.
Nice.
Definitely a high performance habit that high performing people learn to develop and exhibit. And she was stuck in this really uncomfortable situation that she wanted to express gratitude to somebody in her extended family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, doesn't that sound easy?
Mm-hmm.
Just
sounds
it
simple.
sounds easy. Yeah, it sounds simple, right? Go tell them you're thankful.
Right.
Well, there was some deep emotion involved in this thank you. And this side of the family is the non-emotional, non-hugging side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
But she was afraid to express it, thinking that it might not make the connection to the giver that she was hoping for. And she felt like it might just kind of be brushed off. And so she was just talking herself in circles into not doing this.
Uh-huh.
And I challenged her to do this regardless of the response or the outcome, that she would feel better if she became courageous and went and tried to make this connection to the giver. Well, it turned out way better than she ever imagined.
It's funny how often that happens.
Now there is a connection, a deeper connection there. And it comes from that, man, you almost sneezed right there.
I did.
I thought for a second you were getting choked up on this, but
no.
But I think this is what Dr. Nelson is talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You create a higher level of gratitude.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we finish with the levels here.
Yeah, might as well. Like we've talked about evil.
Yeah. Fake gratitude, artificial, evil, insincere.
What would you say level 1 is? That first level.
Well, I think we get into that shallow part where you're just thankful for a thing.
The thing. Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad, but we do this. We often journal or write.
Yeah.
Things we're grateful for.
Right. I think that's a good step in the right direction.
But you can see how there isn't necessarily a connection to the giver just from writing something down.
Yeah, so that's kind of tapping into some of the power that gratitude has, but it's more of an internal thing rather than creating the connection.
I like, sending a text.
Yeah.
Sending a text.
I think that's a good step up.
Send something more call, sending a recorded message.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those things are good. Video message is probably better. Oh, I know something that I was taught this by my mother, and it's, I don't know if I've mentioned this before.
You've talked to me about it. She was
a letter writer up until when she died, like a handwritten letter. In this world of digital email and text and everything, she was a handwritten letter writer and would also often write thank you notes. There is incredible power and connection that can be made with a handwritten note.
Yeah. Well, I have to express gratitude to you for modeling that for me, because I've been the recipient of a couple of handwritten thank yous from you, which I very much appreciate. So you back that up, and I agree. As the recipient of that, like it's an awesome feeling for me to feel that expression of gratitude when somebody writes me a handwritten letter.
Well,
so thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. From a selfish perspective, I know when I do a handwritten note, I get all of the, okay, go scientist on me, Dr. Crandall. What's happening in my brain when I do that as the thanker? Because it happens.
It does. Gratitude's a cool thing in your brain because it almost exists on the same circuit as stress. And when you turn up the gratitude, you turn down the stress. So it's like an anti-stress kind of thing. You can't be grateful and stressed at the same time. And so you end up with this lower stress, happy kind of feeling as you're expressing the gratitude. So as you're writing that in hand, or by hand, which is a powerful way to connect with the words, that helps you get all those de-stressing benefits of gratitude. That's why it's good to journal, but it's even better when you write it expressing the gratitude and then you give it to somebody, because now you get the serotonin hit from knowing that you've made that difference for somebody else. Creates connection, actual connection with the person, which ups the serotonin.
I like this, like an antidote to stress.
A little bit. There's one other superpower, and we may have to do another episode on it because I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. But not only does gratitude kill stress, gratitude's the antidote to comparison.
Okay, stop. Yeah, that deserves more time.
Yeah, but just to tease that idea, and we'll go back to that. But gratitude not only kills stress, it is a powerful way to beat that enemy of comparison.
I like it. So do you think there's a higher level than in connection to the giver?
Well, I think your story highlights the highest level.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the story that you shared is like, it's a perfect example.
The soccer guy?
No, that wasn't a story. That was a mocking rant that we both actively participated in. I apologize. But no, the story about your client who was having a hard time getting up the courage to go and express the gratitude to somebody, but did it face to face, and it went way better than they were planning on. And some people kind of shy away from, because it's an intense emotional experience.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I try to do with my players that I coach is I try, and I have not always been good at this. It's something that I've learned to do, and I wish I'd always done it. But when I'm grateful for my player, I want to get there and I want to, make contact with them, high five, fist bump it or something, and just let them know I'm grateful for you. And when you do that, they feel that. They feel that you appreciate it, and it helps their confidence, helps them in so many ways. If we do that for our kids, for our family, for anybody, it changes our relationships, and it's high level giver gratitude.
I have nothing else to say.
We're grateful for everybody out there. Thanks for being with us. On behalf of Steve Galley, I'm Nate Crandall, and we thank you, our loyal listeners, for tuning in to this episode. If you love what you're learning from the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast, we would appreciate it very much if you would leave us a 5-star review and some glowing comments. We also encourage you to share this episode with your friends and family who are parents of athletes and performers. And if you want to explore further and see what Steve and I are creating to help thousands of parents, athletes, and performers, please visit our company's website at createtransformbecome.com. That's createtransformbecome, all one word, .com. There you'll find a growing number of resources to help you elevate your performance. Thank you again for your support, and we encourage you to create a magical relationship with your athlete and performer.